Shambho Mahadev. So in chapter 3, Bhagavan continues the Avadhuta continues. So here he says, the next teacher, Brahmana Uvacha Sukhamayendriyam Rajan Surge Naraka Evacha Dehinam Yadada Dukham Tasmane Chede Tadbudu Abuddha Sukhamayendriyakam Indriya Sukhas. Hey Rajan Surga. Hey Rajan, Surga means here the enjoyments. That comes to beings through the senses is met with the heaven as well as the hell. Surge Naraka Eva Cha. Dehinam Yadyata. Just as a misery is sensed, the wise man should not hanker after that. Sukham Aindriyakam Indriya Sukhas. Hey Rajan, Indriya Sukhas Surge Naraka Evacha. It is like Surgam and Narakam. That is the opposites. That both are sufferings. Dehinam Yadyada Dukham. This brings only Dukham. Tasmane Che Tad Buddha. Buddha means wise man. Buddhi, Bodham. The one who has got Bodhavan is Buddha. Wise man should not be Icha Tasman Echeta. For that, Icha should not be there. For what? Indriya Sukhana. So, hey Rajan, Indriya Sukha is Naraka and Surga. Ata Tad Buddha Uvacha Dehinam Yadyata Sukham Tasman Echeta. Enjoyment is like misery inevitable in any sphere of life, being due to one's prarabdha of work. Here it's the example of the python, he says. The python, what happens, he doesn't move. In the forest, he just lies down. Like any other animal, he doesn't go struggle for getting a prey. He'll be just lying down there at a place, open its mouth. The prey comes and falls into it. This is how it does. It doesn't make any trial in this way. So he doesn't believe in the looking for it. The looking for food. Here it has been compared with the Indriya Sukha. Indriyas are there. Every man has got the Indriya. But what happens when Indriya and the sensory system is looking for the pleasure is the example. Like a python, when it is not looking for the pleasure, when it is there, it is dormant, it is necessary. These indriyas are necessary. Sensory system is necessary for a human. Let it be there. But they should not be initiating to look for pleasures for them. That's why it is python. Like a python, it should be dormant. It should be there where it is. It is necessary for many other purposes, even for the attainment of moksha. Certain sensory systems are necessary, and it will function according to that. So Indriyas should not go look for sensory system. What happens now? Normal cases with the human being, the sensory system initiates itself, extends itself from the body, out of the body, and goes all over, looks for pleasure and bring that pleasure and then enjoy it or suffer for it. Here, the Avadhuta says, I have learned it from the python. It's not that it is starving. All other animals are trying their best, hiding, jumping, running, catching the prey. Lot of struggles are being done. But this one is just lying down and then it gets its prey. I learned a lesson, Avadhuta says, I learned a lesson from them, that Indriyas should not be looking for, not that for the food. The example is not food, not eating. That from this I understood that even if the Indriyas are provided, sensory system is provided. If there is a body, if there is a mind, there has to be a sensory system. Without that, it is not possible. This sensory system and the Indriyas are given for a person to release his prarabdha due to karmas. Being done due to one's prarabdha of that. So this prarabdha has to be released. From the prarabdha, one has to get moksha and mukti. In order to attain that, this sensory system and the indriyas are necessary. It is meant only for that. It is not meant for looking for pleasures and attain that in the name of the pleasure. They bring these sorrows and dukkha into them. That should not happen. So I have learned it from that. I stopped so indriya nigraha has to be done. It's the lesson that is learned from there. Otherwise it looks for acquisition and should strive after the self-realization, he says. Realizing this, the indriyas or the sensory system should not be projected for earning the dukkha. Dukkha means karma bhala. Karma bhala is dukkha. Here also he says about the heaven. One may feel it is heaven, but it is not. It ultimately ends up with the prarabdha. Prasam sumrishtam virasam mahadam stokamevacha mahava yadyachaiva pavidam praseta jagaro akriya. Prasam sumrishtam virasam. Whether the food is delicious or virasa, not tasty, sumptuous or scanty, the sage who lives in a python's life should take just what it comes of itself without exerting for it. He also doesn't have any specific worldly tastes. It's about the taste. There is no specific worldly taste. Whatever is provided by the nature is that what is necessary for him. He realizes it and he survives. He lives with that. He doesn't look for creation of manipulation and manifestations of the enjoyments from the Prakriti. Even though they are all there, it can be done. Any manifestation can be done. And each churning you do from any of the matter, many of the things can be churned out, you see. And that will bring you only the prarabdha. Without doing that, whatever comes to him, he accepts. He is talking about the Avadhuta status. You should remember always, these answers are given by the Avadhuta to Raja Yadu when he asked him how you could be so perfect at this young age. Hey Avadhuta, he asked the question. So he is replying for all this. Then he said he has 24 teachers. From each teacher he has learned these lessons. Shaitahani bhurini niraharenupakrama yadi nopana medprase mahahirivavadishtudu. Sorry. He should lie many days without food, without exertion, and if no food present itself, then like the great python he should abide by what? Destiny. Here the word destiny has been used, decrease. Nothing. Here the destiny means, it is not that bhagya or something like that. Here destiny means he should bear with it, that's all. Should accept it. So the principle being that, it's not that like a python you lie down and don't do anything. Whatever comes you accept is not the, even though literal translation is like that, because that is the nature of the python. The prakriti of the python is to be idle. So here, the python has been compared to the indriyas and the sensory system. So to be dormant and idle, who should be idle? Not the individual, but his indriyas and sensory system should be idle like a python. And whatever comes to that, you accept it. Now, I will tell you, I have already told you about this, that we said that you remember that when we are functioning in our life, if we are supposed to go to one place to another place, we have got a goal, we have to go there and do this and come back. I told this even last class, I remember. You have to go there and come back is your karma, is your duty, is your karma, is your dharma, is your moksha, is your mukti, everything. But what happens, on the way there will be so many things, doesn't matter, you see those sights. You cannot close your eyes, no, I will not see it. You can see it. If you think it is an enjoyment, you enjoy it. If you think it is a dukkham, you have dukkham, no problem. But don't look for it, don't discuss for it, don't wait for it, is what he says. Like the indriya should be subtle and sensory system should be subtle, during the process of your function of execution of karmas, so many things will come. Like when you churn the milky ocean, so many things from great nectar to the worst poison, also has come from there. Halahala Visha has also come from there. So like that, many things can come. You know where you are moving, but this should be not looking for pleasures. If it comes to it, you can. Like he said here, the destiny, you can let the sensory system take it. If it likes it, it likes it. It doesn't like it, reject it. But as a subtle python, it should know that they are supposed to be dormant, not to get attracted to those things which are there, which are by the side of those where over and above the goal that you have. Why? Because when you when you entangle with that, you will not be in a position to attain the goal. This will take you away from the goal of yours, because this has got the capacity to attract you and delay you the process. That means the delay can be number of janmas. It is not few hours. Ojaha saho balayutam bibrahe amakarmakam shayano vetanitratya nehetedriya vanapi. Holding the body still, endowed with energy, fortitude and strength, he should lie wide awake, not exert, even though having the organs intact. He says he should lie wide awake. That means he should be always conscious. Even though Python is lying down, he is always conscious if there is any prey coming to it or not. It's conscious. And alertness and consciousness is necessary. Be conscious. That means you have to attach yourself to the consciousness. Even though the indriyas and sensory systems are there, let it be there. They should not be activated for the purpose of awakening the consciousness, because the consciousness is not dependent on the sensory system as well as the indriyas. They are only for the purpose of experiencing the externalities, and it should be used only for experiencing the externalities and not for awakening the consciousness. That means it is only meant for the prarabdhas to be eliminated. That's all. They have no other purpose. The prarabdha has to be released and eliminated from one's karma. Then only he gets mukti. Then only he can attain himself the absolute consciousness. So it is not that indriyas and the sensory system are bringing you or making you or taking you towards revelation of the consciousness. They are only eliminating those prarabdhas and agami karmas or sancheta karmas, whatever is there, that should be eliminated. This elimination process is done by experiencing by them. This can be eliminated, but yes, one can say that elimination also leads to the consciousness, one can say, but it has got no importance as far as the consciousness is concerned. If one is attached with the consciousness and aware of the indriyas and the presence of the indriyas and the sensory system are meant only for negating the prarabdha karmas and sancheta karmas, then he is always with the consciousness, even though the indriyas and the sensory system function for the purpose of it. There are two ways. One is that getting attached to the indriyas and sensory system and executing and exhausting the prarabdha karma and sanchita karma. Another is being with the consciousness, let the indriyas and the sensory system function. The saint remains with the consciousness, allows the others to function and to move it, so that he doesn't get attached to it. He doesn't get carried away by its virtues. Ojaha, holding the body. Okay. Munihi prasanna gambhiro durvigahyo dhiratyaya anandaparo drikshobhyah sthitimadoha ivarnava. The sage should be placid and profound, difficult to fathom and to cross over, illimitable, immovable, like the ocean with its mass, waters and rest. Here the comparison, parallel between the ocean and the saint is taken. Pythons are ocean and saint. Muni is that prasanna gambhiro. He is gambhira. See, gambhira means always alert and serious of it. Serious in the sense not reserved, serious of anything that his life. He is living. We have to be taking it seriously. Our life has to be taken seriously. We should not play with the life, we call it. No? We also say normally, don't play with your life. And we always play only with the life, no? Because there is nothing else to play with. Prasanna gambhira. One should be prasanna and one should be gambhira. Don't play with your life, because this is the life where you are given in order to get mukti or moksha. Now what you do? You on a trial and error method keep on doing all sorts of nonsense and playing with it. Not that is it. That's why he said gambhirata. The gambhiryam should be there. The gambhirata, the seriousness of understanding of why I have got a life should be there. Not playing with the life. Not that you don't joke, don't smile. No, it's not like that. The gambhirata should be there. The seriousness of life should be there. But you see, most of the people, 90% of the life is played with. As if they take it for granted. If I do this, this is going to happen. If I do like that, that will happen. I will do that. I will do this. I will do this. I will do this. I am doing this. I am doing this. Yes. No aim. And they do not have the knowledge. They pretend they have the knowledge. And they take a decision. They follow it. And they have miseries. And they have trial and error methods they try to do. And ultimately land up into dukkha. There also you do not know how to come out of dukkha. Okay, if at all, at least you have done all this and reached the status of dukkha, at least now you know come out of dukkha. But when it is in dukkha, one doesn't know how to come out of dukkha. He gets engulfed into dukkha. That's what's called the prasanna gambhira. Muni, prasanna gambhiro. Prasannata should be there, because when one is not attached with anything, he has got prasannata. When one is not feeling that one is losing something, then there is prasannata. When we have problem, when we have trouble, when we have dukkha, when we lose something, is not, or when we think of losing something, oh, I will not get it. Suppose I don't get it. I am sure I will not get it. No, this sort of loss. The thought of loss will bring you only dukkha. In fact, there is no gain and there is no loss. The dvandvata is not at all there. So you cannot have the, that's what I said, it's called the play. Playing with the life. So one should be, prasannata can come. In one, there can be prasannata. Prasannata doesn't mean, many people think, oh, one should keep on, see, he is keep on smiling, he is keep on laughing, he is keep on jumping, he is keep on enjoying, he is always prasanna. No, that's not the prasannata what Muni is talking about. The prasannata is that in the mind there should be no agitation at all. When there is no agitation at all, it is the prasanna gambhirata. I have heard many of the pravachaks, or the whom we call as sannyas, saints, who speak on the television. I have heard, not heard otherwise, somewhere, some people who are talking now. Smile always. They may be meaning this only probably. Smile always. Be happy always. Be happy, very misunderstood word. One's happiness is different from the other's happiness. One gains happiness by doing atrocities, like Ravana gets happiness by killing people. Asura gets happiness by killing people. Somebody else gets happiness by cheating people. We also say sometimes, no. In us also we have Asurikada in us. Suppose when our enemy meet with a difficult situation, even though externally polished, you may say something very generous and all that, but inside you will say what you will say. अच्छा हुआ, उसको ऐसे ही होना चाहिए था, गंदा आदमी है ना. Everyone says this, most of the people. You see, he said prasannata. It is happiness. Be happy. Be happy is a karma, is an action being done. That's why be happy. We cannot say happy without be, is it not? When you advise somebody, you have to say, be happy. You have to be happy. He has to be happy. Be happy. Has to be there. The doing happiness, that means you bring happiness to you forcefully, you see. That happiness can be anything to your mind. And everybody has got varied happinesses. This is not what he means by prasannata. Why I am saying that? It's a very intricate word and beautiful. That word is that prasannata. Prasanna bhava means doesn't mean that you have to keep on smiling. Somebody said, "Arey, you always keep smiling." Somebody was telling that really in the pravachan, you don't have to be serious sitting like that. Why not? He can be serious sitting like that, doesn't matter. His mind has to be prasanna, that's all. He need not to develop his cheekbones for the purpose of others to know he is prasanna. By my smiling, I do not see, do I? I don't know how I smile. I don't see that. Somebody else says that you are smiling. So for the purpose of someone else, I am doing smiling. I was just thinking about his words. You know. I always try to analyze it. Well, normally what happens, they also say that when one is prasanna, the facial muscle get relaxed. So that's true. Not only facial muscles, the mind, the whole sensory system in our body. Prasannata is not only in the face. Prasannata is from head to toe, is prasannata. The whole nervous system, whole indriyas, whole the, what is that? Sensory system should feel prasanna, pleasant. That's called the status of anandam. Status of anandam is prasannata. In status of anandam, there need not be a smile. There need not be, sometimes there can be tears in anandam. See. We also say that when you are ananda, ashru. Ashru can be flown, ashru may be flowing through ananda. Can we say he is crying or he is not happy, he is not smiling? He is in ananda. See. The principle being prasannata should be there from head to toe. When can you have the prasannata? When your system feels you are not at all at loss of anything. You are absolutely complete. When the purnata is felt, then only the prasannata is felt. Whenever there is a little bit of apurnata also is there, then you have to be happy then. You have to show them that you're happy. As many people, suppose we are walking like this and crossing with them, they know that it's only a fraction of a second they will be looking each other. That's enough, no? The other man should feel, I am prasanna. What is the necessity? Whether he feels you are prasanna or not, how does it matter to you? It doesn't make it. Muni prasanna. Muni prasannata is plus gambhirita. Gambhirita, that take your life as serious. Don't play with your life. Okay? This is beautiful. This Atma is equivalent to that Paramatma. The portion of the Paramatma is in you and you are part of Paramatma. Be conscious of that. Automatically the prasannata is always there, is it not? You don't need anything. You don't have to be given anything. You don't have to acquire anything. You don't have to possess anything. When you don't have to possess anything, you don't have to lose anything. Then automatically the prasannata is there. So Gambhirata is that here, I like to explain that Gambhirata. Gambhirata, everyone should be that Gambhirya should be there in us. Seriousness of life should be there, not that, oh, he is a very serious person, we say no, never smiles, never talks, never does this. Not that seriousness, that means he is a worried man, the one who doesn't do all these things. No, he is only cursing himself inside, Not smile. If I smile, my teeth will fall down. Therefore, I must keep them together. If I smile, my face shape will become like this. So better to keep the shape of me. Just joking, I mean, you know the purpose behind this. Some sort of misconceptions in the mind, the understanding. They would like to be. So the serious. They are also trying to be prasanna. They are also trying to be prasanna. The one keeps on smiling, but inside he may be, something else. That's also being happy, that's all. Here, the Avadhuta says, Brahmana says, it's prasanna and gambhira. So why I repeatedly telling this is that this is necessary for each and every individual who would like to get the mukti, moksha from the cycle of janana and marana. In order to gain that janana marana cycle out of it, we have to be serious of life. You spend 25% of your life getting angry, 30% of your life getting jealous. Then I'm just telling a percentage. And 50% of life anyway you are sleeping only. Then the rest 50% can be divided into those percentage. Ultimately, what is the percentage of prasannata in you? Only one moment, at the time of death. At last finished, everything is over. Now, don't have to think about anything else. That's the only status when prasannata is there. All other time you are busy. Ananta bharocha chebhyaha sthitito evarnanaha. To cross over, he said. It's difficult to fathom and to cross over. To cross over in the sense, crossing over the life ocean of life, that's crossover. Illimitable and immovable like the ocean with its mass of waters at the rest. The sage has identified himself with the Atman. When the sage has identified himself with the Atman, there is no ocean to cross. There is no limitable, illimitable, immovable, movable. They have no this Dvandvata, it's not at all there. Dvandvata is applicable only to those who are the gainers and losers, who are entangled with all these parameters in our life. It's a very important sloka to be understood, like an ocean. An ocean is always full. Ocean is immovable. Ocean is complete, always. It's profound, it is placid. So many waves, so many things happen on the surface of the ocean. But ocean is not disturbed at all. Everything happens on its absolute surface of it. The surface is hardly a few millimeters. Even if a high tide comes or a low tide comes, or waves come, let it be tsunami, let it be anything. How does it matter to the ocean or to the bottom of the ocean or the truth of the ocean? The ocean remains same. The tides and the waves, they come and end at a point. The waves begin with an external involvement, breeze or wind, or while the earth is moving, because of that also the tide, low tide, high tide takes place also. And when the movement of earth takes place, then also the waves are created in the ocean. Storm also creating the waves in the ocean. Whatever may be the reason, the waves are nothing but the same ocean. Waves are nothing but the water. Waves are only absolutely superficial. No waves can be there below the level of that length of that wave, depth of that wave. What happens? It begins, where is the wave coming from? It comes from the sea at one point. Where does it go? It goes and ends at the sea at another point. That's all. But the wave, when it is traveling, it thinks, I am separate from the ocean. The ocean is static. I can travel. So he enjoys the traveling. He thinks that is most beautiful. He can move. He moves. He realizes that he is nothing other than the part of the ocean when it ends. There is no more place for the wave to go, where there is no more place to tide to go, waves to go. It ends at the water and it realizes, my God, I am none other than this only. Similarly, the human being should understand, before death, not from the birth, then when he dies he realizes, oh, I am not the body, I am not that mind, I am not those attractions, I am not those attachments, I am not that indriya, I am not that sensory system, I am not that happiness, I am not that dukkha, sorrowfulness. None of them are me. My truth is this. That. Like the wave begins in the water and ends in the water, at the time of ending in the water only, the wave realizes that I am a part of water, nothing other than that. He finishes there. One wave finishes there. One life, one janma finishes like this. Not knowing that the janma is a part of Atma, he is born like a wave enjoying on the surface of the sea. He does the karmas, actions, unactions and inactions with the support of the Atma. How can he move? With the support of the Atma, not realizing I am the Atma, and only to realize at the time of death, yes, I am the Atma. Everything, all the characteristics of the wave is lost when it ends. Can we identify where was that wave which came about a few seconds before? No. When a man dies, cannot identify. Where is he? Gone. Nowhere. But is he not there? Is he there? He is an integral part of, like the wave is an integral part of the ocean. He is an integral part of the Atma. He is still there, but not in his identity and in his name. He is not there, but he is there as that base. Simple Avadhuta says, I have learned this from the ocean, that I am nothing, I am that Atman. So when I realize that, it is like this ocean, that why should I cross this ocean? Somebody tries to cross the ocean, one need not to cross, one need not to struggle, one need not to do anything. And like the water, like the waves, beginning and ending into the water, I began and I ended myself in that Atman only, nothing other than this. This is the truth, so I have learned this truth that I am nothing but the Atman. Once I know that, I have no gains, I have no losses, I have no Dvandvata. Whatever is experiencing, whatever is happening, I am a part of that Prakriti, I am a part of the nature, or I am a part of that Prakriti. Like the ocean is a part of Prakriti. Lives through it. This is what he says. Samudra kamo hino va narayana paro muni not sarpeta na shushyeta sarid biravi sarid bikhisagraha. Whether he has samudra kamo, whether he has an abundance of enjoyable things or he has none, samudra kamo hino va, whether the samudra has got the kama or hina, no kama, none. The sage who has set his heart Narayana Puromani, in the Narayana and the Lord, neither overflows nor shrinks like the ocean on account of the waters of the rivers. During the monsoon, during the floods, excessive water can come and accumulate in the ocean. During the summer it is less. The quantity of water in the ocean, it is neither reducing nor increasing, or it never overflows. It gets adjusted in that itself. It never overflows. Any amount of waters are flowed into that. Any amount of karmas you do, any amount of enjoyment you do, any amount of dukkha you do, the nature of the Atma is never changed. It's always a witness, that's all. It's never changed. It doesn't get, that means overflows in the sense, it doesn't get attracted to any changes that is happening in life, that's all, overflowing. A person who doesn't get changes, who doesn't change by the incidents that is happening in life, he is the one who is with Atman. He is the one who is prasanna gambhira. The one he keeps on changing his happiness and dukkha, sukha, dukkha, kashta, moha, labha, nashta. He will always be pulled to that, pulled to this, pulled to that, and this. But a saint suffers no change. Okay, now that is over. Then he says about the moth. The next is the example of the moth. Small moths, they fly during Diwali. Drishtva striyam devamayam tadbhavairajito indriya pralobita pradatyante tamasyagno padangavat. The one who gets, the man of controlled senses, not getting attracted to any of the, here he specifically mentions about the sense gratification in general, attraction of the sense gratification in general. The one who gets sense gratification in general, what happens? They, being tempted by their blandishments, falls into abysmal darkness. They fall into the darkness and they, like the moth, they get burnt in the fire. The one who is falling means transmigration, falls into transmigration. That means the one who is getting attracted to the sense gratification, he specifically here in the note he says, utter a note of warning against sex attractions and sense gratifications in general. So one who gets into this trap of it, where the sense gratification is there and the indriyas will start misbehaving, he will be like a moth, will fall into the darkness and burn itself into the fire. That's it. The next 2-3 shlokas are mentioning about the same thing. The foolish man who with his vision blinded is tempted by such elusive creations as men, women, gold, ornaments, apparel, and the like, considering them as objects of enjoyment. They're all is destroyed like the moth. The sage should live. Now next, so the moth is getting attracted to the light because they are in the darkness. From the darkness, when he looks at the light, it gets very attractive. It doesn't know it's fire, actually it's a flame. So when it is flame, it thinks that the moth thinks it is something very attractive. It will be pleasant to be there. It doesn't know it's a flame because it is in the darkness. Like that, a human is in the darkness, and when he gets attracted to all this man, woman, gold, ornaments, apparel, like considering any of these objects of enjoyment, if they are looking at them as objects of enjoyment, then they go and get into the flame and they die. And then again the transmigration takes place. Stokam prased grasam deho varteta yavata grahana himsanatishte dvitim madhukari munehe madhukari. Here we say about the madhukari is bee, the madhu, the one who takes the madhu. Stokam. The sage should live like a bee, taking little doles of food from several houses without taxing them. just so much as would maintain the body. Here it has been told as food because the honey is food. The bee takes honey from many flowers. It takes one drop from each flower. It leaves quite a lot of honey to the flower itself to be there. It's not that it is totally emptying whatever it has got. It takes only little from one flower, one drop from one flower, another drop from another drop from another drop. A saint lives by asking by bhiksha. That's why Shastras said that, no? A great sannyasi or an acharya or a great guru, he asks bhiksha from 5 houses every day to keep the 5 senses, the pancha bhutas, panchendriyas, pancha koshas survive. That's why the 5 has come. So he will divide into 5, take 5 houses, and in between one house doesn't give food also. Not that, one minus, so another one we can. No. He will ask in 5 houses, 3 houses have given, 2 has not given, fine. 1 has given, 4 has not given, fine. Or the 5 has given, fine. He will ask only 5 houses to give bhiksha from only 5 houses. The principle being that should not tax anybody for taking care of the sannyasi total. So he'll take little is one way of doing it. That's we all know it's insignificant. Okay, fine. The principle being again, the satisfying the panchabhutas. It's a great principle. Taking bhiksha. It's not begging, it's taking bhiksha from 5 houses. Who is executing karmas? The Panchabhutas are executing karma. Why we are executing karmas? Panchabhutas are there. Who undergoes the karma bhala? The Panchabhutas, Panchendriyas, Panchakoshas. So all these 5 are controlled by the Muni or a great Guru, Tapasvi, a great Brahmana. It's the one who is Brahmachari, who is a realizer of Brahman. He takes from those people who are executing their karmas for the purpose of removing their prarabdha and the sanchita karmas. Their panchabhutas, their panchendriyas, their karmendriyas, their panchakoshas, they are all entangled in the karma bhalas and in the suffering and the enjoyment. He, being a controlled person of panchabhutas, when he takes the bhiksha from the houses, those panchakoshas and panchabhutas of theirs, whichever karmas they are executing, he is taking over the papa karmas from that panchendriyas and panchakarmas. He, being a person who has won over the panchabhutas, he doesn't get afflicted by that. What happens? This gets diluted in his panchabhutas. Is why bhiksha is taken, so that a great amount of relief is given to the one who is giving bhiksha. It's a support. It's only a support, but many things have to be done by the person. But this great support can be given by the tapasvi. So the one who is giving dharmam, with a great reverence, the dharmam has to be given, not by force. Dharmam has to be given by great reverence, great respect, and he also takes away the papa karmas and then consumes, then finish it, is one way. So like that, he takes it from 5 every day, the next 5 next day. Like this he keeps on helping others. Here another way also, the bee is taking the honey from each flower, little of it, whatever is excess from that, little of it, making it, not drying the flower, emptying that honey from it. So he should live like Madhukarim Mune. Anubhyascha Mahadhyascha Shastrobhyah Vujaro Naraha Sarvadaha Saramadatyam Purushebhyo Eva Shatpadaha. The clever man should take the essence out of all sources from scriptures, small as well as great, like the bee from flowers. The next sloka, he says that. A saint or a great person, a clever man, he says. Anubhyascha Mahadhyascha. Anubhyascha Mahadhyascha. Anubhyascha, little. Mahadhyascha, Shastrobhya. From all the Shastras you have to take, it may be repetition, like we are doing. It may be a repetition, but from all the Shastras you will have to take, like the bee is taking honey from different flowers. A clever man takes the essence of the Jnanam from all the Shastras, like the honey is taking that, whether it is small or great, doesn't matter. It's not necessary it has to be a big book, a big Shastra, always. Small also we have to take. So, because there are so many things we have to learn from each and everything. So, a great person, a clever man should take the essence of the scriptures, the essence of the Jnanam from various Shastras, like the bee from the flowers, he says. That's why the Jnanam is unlimited. Why? Because the Jnanam is unlimited. So one has to take from various Shastras, various views, various incidents, various approach to the Atman has to be learnt in various ways, so that the mind will be left with no doubt at all that what is the truth. Because mind will always look for excuses. If I say this is right, that's how the fight begins, Some people said Krishna is a great Lord. Some people said Shiva is a great Lord. And some people said Devi is a great Lord. Some people said somebody else is great Lord. Now, people, because of ignorance of them, they have started fighting, which is great. Had you gone through the learning, acquiring the Jnanam from those great men, from those great Shastras from all over, you will find they are names derived by you, manifested by you. They are names, such names are only for the purpose of you to create an attention, but the Shakti or the power or the energy or the Brahman is only one. Today's fight is that the one is identified as many, that created a lot of problem. That's because of the problem of your vision. That's because you did not understand the Shastras in the right manner. Yes, you understood the Shastras in one way, but not in all the ways. You have to understand from each point, each corner. That's what we are trying to do. From every corner we have to understand the Shastras, and from every corner we have to execute them, put them into the practice in our life. Just awareness is not good enough. The awareness, when it is put into practice, then it becomes the knowledge. Unless one puts something into the practice, it remains as awareness, and the awareness has no benefit. Awareness has no benefit or no change that will bring to your way of living. The awareness will not bring any moksha to you. The awareness will not bring any changes in you, because you are only aware of it. Unless you execute them and experience them and execute them, then only you will be aware of then only you will be acquiring the jnanam from the awareness. So that essence. Bhagavan says, so clever man from Shastras. Next he says, Sayantanam shastanam va na samgrihida vichidam Panipatro udaramatro machigeva na samgrihi. The sage should not store arms for the evening or next day or either hands. Stomach should be susceptible. He should not be a hoarder like the bee. Like the bee, you have to take little. Like the bee, you should not hoard. That also learned from the bee only. What bee do? Bee takes away from this and accumulates and stores. Why? When he does that, what happens? People like others, they watch. Let the bee work hard and accumulate and keep it. One fine morning, I will go and take it. The sannyasi said, I will not hoard anything so that others can steal it. It has got different meanings. Hoarding is accumulating things which are not necessary for him, but is depriving others. Hoarding is by depriving others, he is accumulating things which is not necessary for him. He cannot eat 100 tons of rice, thinking that the price of the rice will go high if he hoards tons and tons of rice only for the purpose of hoarding and selling and taking the benefit out of it. Depriving others is, hoarding can be told only when it has got an impact of deprivation to others. Otherwise it's not hoarding. If it is not depriving anybody, we will not call it as hoarding. When it is depriving others, then only we call it as hoarding. Otherwise it's not hoarding. Well, hoarding is depriving, yes. So, here we have to understand one thing. Like a bee, to make others steal my efforts, I should not do anything. A great saint, a great guru, a great jnani, what happens? Here, another meaning is that he distributes his jnanam that is there. He imparts his jnanam to the disciples moment to moment basis without hoarding them. If he is hiding something which is to impart with to the disciple, that's called hoarding. For an eligible candidate, for an eligible disciple, he should be always ready to give that jnanam which is there. See? And it is not hoarding because he has not accumulated it. He has not taken it from, even though like a bee, for the purpose of others to steal it. The facility of stealing will not be there as far as the jnanam is concerned. Who can steal the jnana? We see only in the movies somebody has found out a particular formula for destruction of the world or disappearance of the physical body, the others will try to um, steal that and then go on killing, and then one whole movie can be made out of it. Thriller. And we very interestingly projecting the eyeballs out of the socket, will be seeing them. Sage doesn't do it. Sage doesn't hoard because there's no hoarding. It's projected. That's called stealing. That's called hoarding. We should not hoard things. That means hoarding is that which is hiding. Hoarding is also hiding from others. Is hoarding also. Hiding is what? Hiding the jnanam. Jnanam is always there and it is always available and it cannot be stolen. Why? It has not been hoarded. This is another meaning of it. One meaning of hoarding of any material or anything. Second meaning is in the Adhyatma status, the other one. Sayam tanam shrastanam vata sangrita bhikshukaha machika iva samgrihyam anyasatena vinyati. The mendicant should not store for the evening or for the next day. One who does so is destroyed with his store like the bee. So he learned from that. So he need not to keep carrying anything. Oh, I must have this, I can use it for tomorrow. It is not necessary. Sannyasin padapi yuvadim bishun. Sannyasin should not touch even those even the wooden figures of those things which can be attracted and attached. They also get attached to various pratimas. No? Even that itself is also is an asakti. It is showing why are you attracted to that particular pratima, that particular statue. In the mind there is a vision, So when you have seeing such things even in the statue, you try to possess it. So he says, that's an indication that you have got the asakti in you. He says, a sannyasi should not even touch it. Take it. Not with his feet even. If he does so, he would be caught as is the elephant through his attachment for the touch of the she elephant. The wild elephants are tamed, the wild elephants are caught and they are tamed by by making them attract to a she elephant. And he becomes a prey for that. It is because of his asakti towards the she elephant, he gets tamed into the man's hands, and he becomes that. He gets out of that. So this is what it says. So the asakti or attachment towards that, whether it is a she elephant or a he elephant, both gets attracted and attached to. That's how they tame each other. So that because that's the way how to easily make them attracted and attached. When they get attached, the one is already tamed and this makes the wild one to get attracted to it. So the wild one getting attracted to the tamed one will also get tamed and he is in the trap of the person. So this is how it is done. That should not be done. What is that? The sannyasin should not do it. He says the reference is to well-known device adopted to by the operation of bringing in name the she elephant to decoy the wild intruders. The wise man should never court. Okay. Now many things are there. Okay. Now comes to like the honey gatherer. Sadukho varjidena, like the honey gatherer, the sannyasin first partake of the good things which households with a view to enjoy, collect through money earned with the great pains. Well, those things are okay, not much of significance. Here he says now, Pramya Geetam na shrunuyada datir vanarchada kichida chicheda harinat vrindat mrgayo Geeta mohitat. Geeta mohitat. Even for a sannyasin, it is forbidden to listen to exciting music. Bhajans and other things are okay. The exciting music, like what we have, film musics and all that, which indicates, a lot of love songs, lot of attraction songs, lot of songs which are, with various words which will evoke your emotions and things like that. So Pramya Geetam na shrunuyatya. Sannyasin is forbidden to listen to. He calls it as a sensuous music. He names it as sensuous music. Sensuous music which arouses your senses towards your enjoyment of sensual pleasure. But should take a lesson from the deer that was caught being enamored by the fowler's music. It seems to catch the deer, the fowlers will play beautiful music, and they get, the deer get very, very attracted to music. So they stop to listen. The moment it stops to listen, they catch it. So you get into the nest trap of this one. So Avadhuta says, I have learned this from the deer. Everyone is a teacher. He learns it from the deer, from the teacher, that anything that now here he has told about the music, it's not only the music, any provocative instructions, any provoking talks, any provoking actions, any provoking words, any provoking of any expressions should not be attracted by you, because that will lead you to the disaster, because that takes you away from the realization of the truth is what. So this is what he says. One is from the honey, then the honey gatherer, then he said about the elephant, then he said about the deer. These are all from them they have learned it. He has learned it. So, Nrityavaditra Geetani, again. Rishyabringa, the offspring of deer, listening to sensuous music of women became their docile playthings. The foolish man, infatuated with delicacies of an over-greedy tongue, now it comes to taste. Over-greedy tongue meets with the death, like the fish by means of the hook. So he learns the lesson from the fish. Fishing is done through a hook. So like the hook, hidden hook is not seen. The one who gets infatuated with delicacies, any taste for that matter, not only for the food, but any taste, anything connected with the taste, when it is too much, when you do not have any control over it, when you have got an over greedy tongue, it's jihvayata, jihva ati pramadhinyaha. Ati pramadhinya. That means too much of anything, too much of greed. It's not only for the taste, too much of greed, Rama vimohitaha. That too much of greed will always lead you towards let it be the food, let it be any other thing for that, any possession, let us conclude it, not only for eating, anything, any possession, if you become too much of greed in that. Why the greed comes? The greed comes to as when we want it more and more, see, the desire. Why the desire of that greed? When it converts into greed, we feel that we cannot live without that. It's the mind, The mind says, I cannot live without it. When that desire becomes beyond certain limits, that becomes greed. He decides that he cannot survive without that. Then naturally, it becomes greed. When he decides that he cannot live without that, he tries to get it somehow or other. He will try to possess it somehow or other. That's called the greed. That's it. So, not only for the food, but any greed for that matter, for a saint, in the sense, saint, it is not only for saint, for any human, any person who are looking for the Atma Sakshatkaram, these things will deprive him of from the right path. Indriyani jayanyashu niraharamaniṣita varjayitva natur rasadam vanisanyasya vardade. Here it is told about the sannyasis, great men, they gave up food if it is not available for them. As I told you, if some house has not given the bhiksha, he is ready to starve, doesn't matter. But I will not go and take it from somewhere else. So that means that even if in our life, not that, see, now from this what we have to understand is not that, okay, one day we also do that. No? Sometimes when it is too much eaten in the afternoon, evening, I will not eat something. It's not a great sacrifice that you are doing it. It has become too much for you. That's not what you are talking about. Here, for a person who needs it, if he is not getting it, he is satisfied even without getting it. Not only about the food. When we are living in this Janma, we are living for the purpose of execution of karmas. Whatever is necessary for our karma will be provided to us by the Prakriti. If something is not provided, even though it has been desirous for us to get it, we should think that this is what is necessary for me today and do away with it. Should not anchor for it and should accept this is the truth and this is what I require, this is what I need for my execution of my karma today, now. If it is necessary tomorrow, it will come automatically. So one should not grieve over that oh, I didn't get it. What will happen if I don't get it? Nothing happens. Many times we have told this. What will happen if I don't get it? I didn't get it. It's not almost every day, I think. I didn't get that, I didn't get this, I didn't have that. It did not happen, that did not happen. This would not happen. And what will happen tomorrow? Tomorrow came, nothing happened. Everything went on as usual. Did it stop? You living? Nothing stopped. So nature provides with that. But unfortunately, we do not know what we want. So we are desirous, we are greedy. Oh, I want this, I have to get this, otherwise what will happen? Because I am ignorant, I am looking for it. Doesn't matter, you have looked for it. But at least be aware and be conscious that in case you are not getting it, this is what I have to get. That's all. This understanding, this jnanam has to be there. So, a man who has overcome the other organs can be a master of his senses until he controls the organ of the taste. When organ of taste is controlled, everything is controlled. The taste here, not only for the food, the taste for anything. No, taste for anything. If taste in the sense, if I don't have this, I cannot survive. I would like to have it. Taste. I must have it. I must have it. The moment I insist on I must have it, if we are deprived of that, if suppose it doesn't come, then we will be miserable. We will be keeping away ourselves from the real karma that we are supposed to do. So a man who has overcome this status, that whatever is necessary is provided to you. That means, this is what I said to you in the beginning, neither loss nor gain. You see, if I don't get it, oh, it is a loss. What will happen? No, nothing will happen. Tomorrow will come, again tomorrow will go. Years will come, years will go. Only our ignorance will keep on bothering us. That's all. Nothing other than that. We must remove that, negate that ignorance, and be aware that whatever is to be. See, as I told you in Upanishad also, everything happens. You remember, we have talked enough about everything happens. Nothing is created by us, hankering for that. No. If it happens, happens. Whatever is happening, and we claim that we are doing it. If it happens, yes, it has happened. But when we anchor that, when we have, no. What is happening? Happening in the sense, not intentionally wanting it. It has just happened, is it? We're not intentionally wanting it. Intentionally wanting it will lead you to the taste. That what happens is not a taste. You know what happens? A Swami, a saint, whatever is given to him, he accepts it. He takes it. Whatever food is given, he eats it. No discrimination on that. This called it happens, you see. That what is given, we accept it. Whatever may be the situation in our life, accept it. The situation is that, see, that when we anchor for something, when we are demanding something, when our sensory system and then when our vasanas are being taken towards certain direction, then our taste, we are creating a taste. When we are creating a taste, that will get disastrous. He says one should overcome that. That means Indriya Nigraha has to be done. Then now he explains about, Avadhuta explains about a lady named Pingala. About few shlokas, about 13, I think 22. So many shlokas, 10, 12 shlokas I think, is about the Pingala. Anyway, we'll just keep reading it. I'll just read you the first shloka. This is shloka number 22nd. Pingala nama Vaishyasi Siddhi Deha Nagare Pura. She's a Vaishya. So she is Vaishya. Vaishya is a teacher for Avadhuta. From a Vaishya, what he learns. Pingala nama Vaishyasi Vaishya Siddhi Deha Nagare Pura Tasyame Shichitam Kinchin Niboda Drabandana. Shiva Shiva. In days of yore, there was a courtesan named Pingala in the city of Videha. I have learned something from her. Hey Rajan, listen to it. Is what Avadhuta tells Yadu. The lesson of satiety or disgust is explained about how one can learn from the disgust. A great lesson. For worldly things received from Pingala is narrated in these verses. Is what the narration. That how the disgust she comes to. One day, that courtesan, with a view to conduct some lover to the trysting place, took a stand at the door in the evening, beautifully dressed, saw स्वैरण्येकादकान्तं सङ्केतोपनिष्यति अपूक्ताले वयन्द्वारा विभ्राति रूपमुत्तमं रूपं beautifully dressed. मार्गा गच्छति वीक्ष्य पुरुषान् पुरुषार्पशा तान् शुल्कदान्युत वदः कान्तान् मेनार्थ कामुका. One after another, the best men, seeing the men coming along, she who was greedy after money considered them to be rich and person likely to yield her some income. So every person comes, she expected him to give her a lot of money. So her expectation was too much of money. Agatveshayateshu sa sanketo vajivinaha apyanyo vitavaknopi mamupaishyati uriha. As they came and passed by one, she who lived upon the proceeds of such a life thought that some other rich man would approach her and bring a lot of money. Thus she kept at the door, now going in and coming out, with her sleep upset by this bond of expectation till it was midnight. When through this expectation of money, her countenance sank and she was very much down in spirits, then as a result of this brooding, an utter disgust came to her that made her unhappy. Nobody came, nobody gave her money. She wanted so much of money. Tasya nirvarna chittata. Here from me how she disgusted sang for disgust is like a sword to cut asunder a man's fetters of expectation. Naham gaja nirvedo dehavandam jyasati yatha vijnana rahito manajo mamtam nirvaha. One, hey my dear, does not desire to get rid of the bondage of the body until one become disgusted as a man without illumination. O king, the clinging to the things. Why this has happened? Because of the desire of the body. Unless one gets he says what? Clingingness, mindness. That means I and me. That desire to get rid of the bondage of the body. So long, because she was very attached to the body. So once the fulfillment of the necessities of the body was not met with, and with all the desires and requirement, and also the greed, hey Bhagavan, Vijnana Rahito Manuja. It's because of the Vijnana Rahita. It's an absolute ignorance that is created. Unless one becomes disgusted, he says, unless one becomes disgusted, one will not be probably learning how to get rid of this body. Pingala got disgusted of this body, that I could not earn anything out of this body. What was the use of this body? She got very depressed, disappointed, disgusted of her body. When she got disgusted of her body, she realized the body can give us no pleasure. Body can give us no earning. Body can give us nothing. So to come out of the body, this is the only way to disgusting. So that disgust and coming and making the disgust, the vishadam, that disgust, vishada yoga. Unless one gets the vishada, one will not be in a position to understand that dukkha bhavam in that. And then, hey Rajan, I have learned that the disgust has to come to the physical body, then only we'll come out of it. This is his way of thinking it. But Maharishis and Munish and Tapasvis and Jnanis have got different opinion. Also in Upanishad, this is one way of it, which don't take it for granted alone. This is one way of thinking of some people. Here the Avadhuta's thinking is like that. Some people think that they have to make the body suffer, and then only they can get the feeling of disgust of this body, and with hatred they want to remove this body. Now this is what Pingala happens, hatred to the body. What's the use of this body? That kind of action. Like Arjuna thought, why should I fight? Like that same Vishadam. It is not necessary. In Upanishad it says, by realization, one will know, even if we have the body, let the body be there, but that is not important. It is not all, but the Antaratma is everything, body is an instrument to that. This is what Upanishad has told us, different method. That's why we have to learn all the Shastras so that everywhere, everything can come. But some people, that's why in some communities, or why even in Hindus and many other religions, including Hinduism, they torture the body. Somebody pierces, I always say, is it necessary? No. Somebody pierces through, somebody pierces like this, and somebody, hurts the body by beating and cutting and bleeding and whatnot. They think it is pleasing the God, or making the aware of that physical body is nothing. For that, this is not necessary. There's a beautiful way of identification of the absolute jnanam through the brahmacharyatum. We have learned it in Chandogya Upanishad. That would also is okay. So different methods. Nothing is wrong. Pingala uvacha. So the Pingala said, the lady says, Aho me mohavitatim pashyata vijitatmana ya kanta dasata kamam kamayena vabalishaha. Pingala said at last, alas, behold the extent of my infatuation. I am a fool whose senses are not under control. Therefore, I seek the satisfaction of desires from such puny creatures as men. She got deprived of that. She said, am I looking for benefits from these men who have deprived me of? And I am a fool to have been thinking that these people will make me happy. I am a fool to have known that these people will make me rich. These people, see, this kind of that. So this is how that brings the frustration through the negative process is approaching the, that's another way of it. Okay, I'm just reading it. I have different opinion, of course. Sandam samipe ramanam rati pradam vitta pradam nityamimam vihaya agamadam dukkha bhayadishoka moha pradam duchamam bhajetva. I am so foolish as to neglect this eternal Atman who lives near. Santam samipe ramanam, the one who is loving me. Ramanam, ramyate, always. Who is that? Not those people outside. The one who is the Atman. I forgot that. The one who entertains me always. The one who makes me rich. The one who makes me conscious. The one who makes me happy. The one who makes me always good. That Santam. Who said Santas? Ramite Ramanam Pradam Viprapradam Nityamimam. So who is neglect to eternal, who is a fit lover and can satisfy me. Who is the fittest lover and who can satisfy me, who can give me wealth. Who can give me wealth? Leaving him, I am courting a puny man who cannot satisfy my desires and who causes misery, fear, disease, grief, infatuation in me. She realizes now. We can call it as disgust. This is not disgust. This is realization after she got disgusted. She realized that, look, I'm foolish. The Atman which is there inside me, like that we said about the Anandam, that the first shloka, in that we said the where I have explained that happiness and to be happy and that prasanna, gambhirya, that prasannata is what exactly I was meaning. I am so foolish that I did not understand the prasannata comes from the Atman, not from that man who brings me only misery, fear, disease, grief and infatuation, getting attracted and attached to that human flesh, who has got emotions, who has got only that desires, who has got all that greed, who has got all that sensory system and indriyas. That cannot satisfy me. How can it satisfy? Is what the Pingala identified it at one point of time. This I have learned from Pingala, from a prostitute, from a Vaishya. Vaishya is what the Avadhuta says about that. See, nothing can make you happy. Only your Atman can make you happy, is what he ultimately comes to. So, learned it from a person like that. Aho mayatma paridapito vrdha sagye tevrtadi vigar yadartaya strainam anuradhyartha trisho anushocha atkitena vitta ratimatmanechati. Oh, in vain I have afflicted my soul by this despicable mode of living, that of a courtesan. I have sought wealth and pleasure from pitiable men who are greedy and slaves to women, after selling my body to them. Who but myself should make much of this body, which consists of bony structures such as the spine, ribs and limbs, explains about that, and is covered over with the skin, hair, nails, and with its 9 doors of secretion and full of filthy stuff. Navadwaras. In this city of Videha, verify I am the only foolish person who of wicked heart seeks any other source of enjoyment than the Lord, who confers the realization of self. He is the friend, the dearest of the dear, the master, the very self of all embodied beings. Winning him over by giving up the body to him, I shall enjoy his company like Lakshmi, like Mahalakshmi to Vishnu. I would like to surrender myself to the Lord, to that Lord where I can get everything, is what she realizes. How much enjoyment have these ever conferred on women who depend upon them, your sense objects, or men who pose as fulfilling desires, or your gods either having a beginning and end and being overrun by time. Surely I have pleased Lord Vishnu, my son, so you understand that. Otherwise, unhappy that I am, these miseries would not have fallen to my Lord, bringing on the disgust by means of which man, getting rid of trammels, attains to peace. Accepting this gift of the Lord of my head, I give up the vain expectation of attain only to sense object. Putting my faith in this to the Lord, I shall live content on what comes to me, shall enjoy the company of that lover, the Atman. He who else can save the jiva, fallen into the pit of transmigration, robbed of his vision by the senses, swallowed up by the serpent of time? Who can save? Only the Atman can save such a person. When one beholds this universe swallowed by the serpent of time, we call it a serpent of time, becomes watchful and turns oneself away from everything, then the self alone is the savior. Like this, and it has happened at last. Brahmana uvacha, Brahmana said, Evam vyavasiddhamadir durasham katadarshajam chitu pashamamastaya Shayamupaveshasa. Having thus determined in her mind, she broke loose from the vein of expectation due to a hankering for lovers, sat on her bed, attaining the composure. Asha hi paramam dukhe nairashyam paramam sukham yada samchitya kantasham sukham sushpa sushvata pingalaha. Expectation is surely the greatest misery. Asha hi paramam dukham is what he said. Asha hi paramam dukham nairashyam paramam sukham. Nairashyam is paramam sukham. Yata samchita. So expectation. The expectation, okay, I'll be happy with that, I'll be happy with this, I will get this. The expectation of that is a great misery. And the giving up of all expectations is the greatest bliss. This we have discussed in our Upanishad also. Expectation is an imagination. Imagination to your taste, to your ignorance. Nothing. There is no intelligence in that. There is no jnanam in it. Take it for granted. Expectation is that. So it will bring only dukkham. It won't bring any sukham. Even though you may get sukham for a momentary period of time, it will convert itself into dukkham only, is what. So, like that, chapter 3 is concluded. Chapter 4, Brahmana Uvacha. Now he continues with the now lesson in the chapter 4, lesson derived from the Pariso Dukhaya. Lesson derived from the osprey. Lesson derived from the osprey is that like a vulture? No. Lesson derived from that. You see, we'll talk about it in the next class. They call it sometimes the same story they have told about the crows. Some said about the vulture and the other birds. Some said there's so many stories of the same. I have read it. The birds followed by a vulture. There's bird followed by a vulture. That also is there. So osprey basically is like this. You see that. A crow or a bird or a vulture, whatever it is. The bird takes the flesh and flies, and a big vulture follows that one. This is a small tiny bird. It has got a fish or flesh, whatever it is, in that beak. So this is following and this is flying, and this is a small one. It's getting tired. This is a huge fellow. He keeps on, one swings, flies like that. No way. Now what to do? So at last the intelligent bird thought, why is he following me? It's because of this only. So he just opened the beak, the flesh falls down, and he flies this way, and the vulture comes down to pick it up. It's another lesson learned from that, is what he is talking about in the next shloka. Okay. That unwanted thing, don't try to. That which is not yours, that which creates problem for you, that which is not yours, that's called the, even in our, anyway, we'll talk about it in the next class. Shambho Mahadev. Om Shanti.